I'm staring right now at Jimmie Dale Gilmore and Dave Alvin playing tonight over at Sam's Burger Joint. Let's see if the microphones work.
All right, let's see. Checking and testing.
That one worked.
Is it on?
Checking 1, 2, 3, 4,
How about
5.
that? Hey, welcome to Third Coast Music Network in San Antonio, Texas.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yeah, it's been well. You were here maybe, Dave. It's kind of hard.
A year and a half ago.
Maybe a couple of years ago,
yeah,
right?
My brother, yeah.
And
it's been a long time since I've been here.
I don't recall. Like, I think even with seeing you, maybe I've only seen you maybe play up in Austin.
Yeah.
I'm thinking. So it's been a little bit of a stretch. You guys just put out a brand new record, or a relatively new record, right?
Mm-hmm.
Downy To Lubbock. It's just a fabulous record. It's got to tell you
Thanks.
guys. It's been fun for me. Like, I knew this interview was coming up a few days ago, so we've been playing this record, I don't know, 6 months or however long since it's been out, right? And it really gave me a nice opportunity to listen to the whole thing over and over. And it's just a beautiful record. You guys should really be proud of it.
Thank you.
It's called Downey To Lubbock. Let me ask you guys, where is home for you guys right now?
Right now?
Yeah, where are you guys living at?
I live outside of Austin, out towards Spicewood.
Outside Spicewood?
Yeah,
Where
down
aren't you, Dave?
281. So I'm.
Oh, an easy drive.
I get on 71, then 281, come straight here.
Very nice. What about you, Dave?
I live in various Hampton Inns across America.
Oh yeah, that's where I live. I forgot.
But I live when I'm not
this year.
when I'm not in a Hampton Inn. I'm in a Red Roof or wherever. I live in California.
Oh, very good. Well, again, Downey To Lubbock, Dave Alvin, and Jimmie Dale Gilmore playing tonight over at Sam's Burger Joint. I think Colin Gilmore, your son's going to open, right?
That's right.
And so downbeat probably be about...
The golden throat of Colin Gilmore.
There we go.
His son is an amazing singer.
Perfect. How did, I got to ask you guys before we play a song, like, how did this must have started? This little project must have started maybe a couple of years ago, I'm guessing. Y'all got an idea about this? Because between the time of starting this...
It's been about a year and a half, I think.
Yeah, it was January of last year that we did our first show, and we but we had Dave and I have been very close friends for 30 years before that, so it's a kind of a belated project.
Yeah.
And then, did you all just decide to do this? Did you write? I know there's a song, obviously, a title track. Did you write the song for the project, or did you just sort of have this
We
kicking
sort of
around?
wrote the song,
Yeah.
the Downy To Lubbock song. We kind of wrote as we were recording it.
And he wrote,
You know.
Dave wrote one other song on the record. The rest of them were like a reflection of what we discovered while we were on the road together, which was that we had a whole bunch of old stuff in common.
Oh, very nice. So I know you all were talking here before we got on the air. So is this towards the end? I mean, I know you guys have been on the road with this show a bit, right? Up in
Everywhere.
everywhere,
Yeah.
right? Except San Antonio. And so is this towards the end?
We
Like
saved the best for last, man.
you saved the best for last. You guys are over at Sam's Burger Joint this evening. Again, downbeat. Colin probably started about 8. You guys probably close to.
I think it's maybe earlier.
I think it's earlier,
I
yeah.
think he might start at 7, and
Oh, that's good.
and we
Yeah.
start at 8.
That's
yeah.
good. That's good. You know, it's also good. It's also nice for me to have people in here that are actually, you know, about my age. So it's, you know, early shows are good. Well, why don't we do a song? I know you guys
Lots
got
of seats for everybody
Lots of
to sit down.
places to lean. Right. Right. Why don't we do a song? We'll come back and chat.
All righty. Well, I'm a wild blues blaster from a Central California town. And I got this loud Stratocaster, but not right this second. That can blow San Antonio down. You know that I've been up on the mountain and I look for the promised land, and I've been to the ash grove and I shook lightning's hand. Now I'm leaving tonight, people. I'm down in Lubbock bound.
Well, I'm an old flatlander from the great high plains, like wanderlust and wonder, West Texas wind blows through my veins. But it seemed like California was the place to be for a hippie country singer that was me, and I'm leaving tonight. I'm Lubbock to Downey bound.
Try it, Jimmy. 40 years on the highway, living on dreams and gasoline. And somehow still surviving on Advil, NyQuil, and nicotine. Well, every city and every heartbreak, every hopeful kiss, every road I've traveled has led me to this. Now I'm leaving tonight, people. I'm Downy To Lubbock bound.
Well, I took a lot of turns, cul-de-sacs and dead ends, but I made a lot of music and I made a lot of friends. Yeah, I took a lot of turns, maybe some were not that good. If I had to do it over, well, I surely mostly would. I'd be right on this highway that's Lubbock to Downey bound.
Blaster looking to find what can be found.
And I'm an old flatlander.
Yeah.
I've been round and round and round.
You know, someday, Jimmy, this whole highway's gonna come to an end.
But I know when it does, you're gonna be my friend.
Yes, sir. So I'm leaving tonight, people. I'm Downy To Lubbock bound.
Yes, I'm leaving tonight. I'm Lubbock to Downey bound.
Man, that's nicely out of tune.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Title track from Jimmie Dale Gilmore's and Dave Alvin's brand new release, Downy To Lubbock. Jimmie Dale, it sounded great. As I pulled off the headphones here, because I'm like, I was thinking about this last night and was like, you know, you haven't recorded much. It was really nice to hear you back. Sort of back, right? It's been a while since there's been a record come out from you, and I'm like, you know, you're like the Mavis Staples of West Texas. You just make everything better. I was like, so no, that is just great.
Wow, that's the greatest compliment I've had, I think.
Well, there you go.
Throw that in the press kit.
My work here is done. We alluded to some of the songs on the record here right before you guys played. I know you guys co-wrote that one. It sounds like there's a lot of truth in that song, yeah. Right? It sounds like that one is just full of truth. I know you. I know Dave. You recorded or wrote Billy the Kid and Geronimo.
Yeah.
Was that something you had for a while, and you wrote for you and Jimmy, or how?
Both. It had been laying around, kind of. You know, my songwriter brain is kind of like a parts shop, you know, for an old cars.
Right.
So there's all these parts laying around. And when we started making the record, I thought, well, I've got those parts laying around in the back of the garage. And so then I pulled out the parts and just kind of whipped it into a song, thinking, okay, well, I was a kid once, so I could be Billy, and Jimmy's got some Native American blood, so he'll be Geronimo, and this will work.
Oh well, it's a great. It's a duet song, and it just works out. It just worked out. It just worked out fabulous. How did you guys? There's 12 songs on the record, right? Well, I've got so many questions about some of the songs y'all picked, but. How did y'all go through this? Was this something like you picked one you wanted to do? Was this a joint effort? How did you work through what songs were going to go on the record?
We'd worked together for the whole year before, and And I think Dave started getting. I think he started planning from way early on because we discovered all this old stuff that we both knew and loved, and really weren't aware of each other because I haven't been associated with this style of music much. I got typecast over in another world, and he's a blaster. He's a
well. There's sugar and
punk
spice
guy.
here. There's sugar and spice here. Right,
and but with both of us. People tend to be surprised at what our early influences were, and they turned out to be very much the same stuff. Yeah. I'm a little older than Dave, but we were listening to the same music, and one piece of it he mentions Lightning, in the Lightning Hopkins, who I got to be friends with Lightning out in California. I never did see him in Texas, but I saw him at the Ash Grove, which I hung out a lot in the mid '60s, and it turned out. When we were touring together, we found out that Dave had been hanging out there at the same time.
Well, it's really cool. Y'all cover a Memphis Jug Band tune, John Stewart's tune, July. These are just some great songs. And what I want to ask you specifically about is you included a Chris Gaffney tune.
Oh, yeah.
You want to talk about
Well, he was my best friend, so...
Right.
My job, I'm a guitar player, songwriter, singer, and Chris Gaffney promoter. That's in the job description. So when, we were kind of... The bulk of the songs on the record were kind of in a Southwest kind of mood.
Mm-hmm.
And the Gardens covers Chris grew up in an area, Chris Gaffney grew up in an area in Southern California called Hawaiian Gardens, which was neither. And there's areas like...
Everyone's smiling. We were not on TV.
Yeah. There's areas like Hawaiian Gardens all across the Southwest. And so I thought that's a pretty Southwest song, and I can, tip my hat again to Chris. And
Well, that was fabulous. It was really nice to hear the song and see it right smack dab in the middle.
Yeah.
Right. I was like, oh, they put this one in the middle. This one came from the heart. So that was really cool. If this was going to be a Baker's dozen, I got so many questions because y'all picked these songs, right? Let's pretend what got left out.
Oh, there's a lot.
There had to have been a lot, right?
We have a bunch more that we were doing on our. Our duet shows together. We just we came up with so much stuff, and and occasionally there'd be something. One or the other of us would have something that the other one wasn't familiar with. But most of the time, I'd start off on a song, and they would usually know it better than I did.
Yeah, I looked at the record. And I'm like, okay, there's 12 songs here. I know there was a Baker's dozen in here. I wonder who was right there. It just didn't just did not.
Well, we had we did a version of an Elmore James song called Goodbye Baby, sort of a blues ballad that I'd heard him sing it 30 years ago, and it always was one of my favorite Elmore James tracks because Elmore, is known for, But the thing about Elmore was he was one of the great blues singers. Take away the guitar and he still made great records. And so we did a version of that, and Jimmy sang the hell out of it. And that was a coin toss between that and Lottie Miss Claudie. And the only reason sort of why I leaned towards Lottie Miss Claudie was we needed another up-tempo song, and Elmore James was kind of a ballad.
And also New Orleans. We had to represent New Orleans because it's so much in both of our musical DNA.
Right.
We did a side trip out of the Southwest, and just for a moment, John.
New Orleans is part of us. It's
off Interstate 10.
It's right there. They were first at just about almost everything. So, so this is towards the end of this sort of project tour, right? You guys, you're involved with a Lifetime project, right? The Flatlanders, to some degree, and Joe Ely actually is playing over here in a couple of days from now, I think.
Yeah,
right?
I noticed that.
And so I just didn't know, do you have anything else on the burners? What's going on? You haven't recorded much, Jimmy. And
Joe and Butch and I have been talking now for actually even right around the beginning of this project. Joe, we had a little dinner together one night and said, hey, it's time to maybe start thinking about it again. But that's always like a 5-year project with us. For a long time it was a 20 or 25-year project. But but we actually are talking about it, but we haven't taken any concrete steps.
Because I think your last record was maybe 12 or so-ish years ago, something like that. Now, Dave, you're the opposite. Like, you take on projects one at a time, right? And, I mean, did a record with your brother. You did, the Guilty Women tour, which was a fabulous project. And Public Domain. Mm-hmm. That's a record you did that is, it's a really cool record. I don't know if you ever actually toured with that.
Oh yeah.
You did.
I disappointed a lot of people. Yeah, no, because I went out. I did a tour for about a year with that record.
Really?
Yeah, and it was mainly acoustic. It was I had me and Chris Gaffney and Brantley Kearns.
Why did you say you disappointed people with that?
Because we're playing songs off the record, and people wanted to hear loud. They wanted to hear Marie Marie and 4th of July and all that.
Beautiful.
And I'm up there doing Shenandoah and folk songs. In fact, I got one of my favorite lines ever told to me in my life at a gig. There was a song on Public Domain called "Murder of the Lawson Family,"
right?
And it's a story about it's an old folk song, murder ballad where the guy kills his family and for whatever reason, I first heard it when I was like 12, and I've loved it ever since. and so I'm walking on stage in New York, and had to walk through the audience, get up to the stage, and this New York guy goes, "Hey, Dave, you gonna do that song where the guy offs his family?" Yeah, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, I'm going to do that one. I'm going to do that one.
So, I kind of exaggerate when I say I disappointed people. But, yeah, we did about a year or so of acoustic touring. And then, songs from that record pop up in the sets every now and then.
All right. What projects are in store for you maybe in 2019?
There's a reunion album. Back in 1981, me and Bill Bateman, the drummer from the Blasters, along with the tenor sax player Steve Berlin, who was sort of floating between bands at that point, who was a member of the Blasters and went on to be one of the leading lights in Los Lobos. So it was me and Bill and Steve Berlin, and then DJ Bonebreak and John Doe from X. We did an album called The Flesh Eaters, backing up this poet named Chris D. And the best way to describe the music is sort of if Captain Beefheart started a garage band to play free jazz. and so we made one album, and that was that. And it's became a cult thing, this album. Because one, the band is great.
Right.
And the songs are interesting. And we did a reunion tour in January this year. We did like 2 weeks up and down the West Coast that were all sold out, and we're like, wow, And the other thing is we were kind of blown away that, and I don't mean this as a joke, but we were blown away that we were all still alive.
Nice.
I'm serious, because the way we used to live and all that, it's kind of like, wow, not one of us? Everybody else is falling by the wayside.
Could have been odds on everyone, right? Yeah,
are still alive. Yeah. So we decided, well, life is short. Let's make a record, and the band is just better. You can't beat the personnel, and so that's coming out in January, and we're going to do a few weeks of touring with that. And it's, I tell people it's like I described. It's Captain Beefheart starts a garage band to play free jazz as a soundtrack to an early 60s cheap horror movie.
It sounds endearing.
It is endearing. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but I'm playing a lot of the same guitar licks I play on all the other records of mine in a different style, though.
Very cool. We'll look forward to that.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we let's do another song. I know you guys got a sound check here in a little bit. Why don't we do what are y'all going to play?
Want to do Stealin'?
Yeah, sure.
He mentioned the Memphis Jug Band, and this is maybe their biggest hit. And let's see here.
Stealing. Pretty mama, don't you tell on me. I'm stealing back to my same old used to be. Well, put your arms around me like a circle around the sun. I want you to love me, mama, like my Easy Rider done. You don't believe I love her, look what a fool I've been. You don't believe I'm sinking, look what a hole I'm in. I'm stealing,
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 Stealing.
Pretty mama, don't you tell on me.
tell on me.
That I'm stealing back to my same old used to be.
Yeah. I'm loving, she's just my height and size. A married gal, come see me sometime. You don't believe I love you, look what a fool I've been. Don't believe I'm sinking, look what a hole I'm in. I'm stealing,
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 stealing.
Pretty mama, don't you tell on me.
Tell on me.
Yeah, I'm stealing back to my same old used to be. Stealing, stealing.
Pretty mama, don't you tell on me.
Tell on me, stealing back to my same old used to be. Yeah, I'm stealing,
Stealing,
stealing.
stealing.
Pretty mama, don't
Pretty
you tell
mama,
on
don't
me.
you tell on me.
Yeah, I'm stealing back to my same old used to be.
Oh man, that's great, right? That's fun. That's just fun. Dave Alvin,
Jug band stuff is
Dave
timeless.
Alvin, Jimmie Dale Gilmore, appearing tonight over at Sam's Burger Joint. Colin Gilmore is going to open up the show this evening. I know you guys.
I believe I'm not sure. I think Nicolette Goodman is with him tonight.
Oh, Nicolette Good.
Good, yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay, very cool.
Yeah,
very
I
nice.
said Goodman. I was thinking about Steve Goodman a while ago.
I'm just going to ask you. I'm going to ask you guys just a couple more questions. We'll get you out of here, right?
Yeah.
So I know you got a sound check to go. So these are easy ones. So I noticed the other day on social media, y'all posted we're headed to Texas and somewhere, and it was in front of a train, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Were y'all commuting by train?
No,
Like it looked perfect, right? I mean, I was
year-
like, if
no,
anybody's going
every-
to travel by train, it might be you guys.
No,
right?
no. It's every year. It's for 12 years. I've been doing these train tours, where what we do is we attach 5 vintage train cars to the back of an Amtrak train, and we went around the country. And so people would pay to travel with us for the whole trip or just a couple days, but they were usually like 2 weeks long. And Jimmie Dale did a couple with us, 2 or 3 now, 3 or 4.
Well, about 5, I think.
Actually, yeah,
including the
and-
big long one in Canada.
And everybody from, I've had Carolyn Wonderland and Ruthie Foster and Blind Boy Paxton and Tom Russell and Ramblin' Jack and Steve Young, variety of Mary Gaucher, and it was called Roots on the Rails.
Oh, Roots on the Rails. Yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately, looks like it may be this would have been our last year because Amtrak changed the rules so that we can't attach old vintage train cars from the 30s to the back of Amtrak trains anymore because the guy that runs Amtrak has decided that no one takes the train anymore, so trains are just for commuting short distances. It's a long story that we won't get into.
Or for big corporations to
Yeah.
move their stuff around.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that the guy that's running Amtrak now is the former CEO of Delta Airlines. So I'm sure when he left Delta, he got a nice stock option, and he doesn't want people taking trains.
Well,
Let's put it that way. So anyway, yeah. Those are great tours.
That's a great thing. I was like, yeah, we're headed to Texas. I'm like, they're in front of a train. I'm like, how are they getting here? What's going on here with
And
this?
it came through. It came all the way through.
And then,
We went through El Paso and Alpine and Marfa. And
Yeah.
You posted
Fort Worth.
something about Jimi Hendrix a couple days ago. Maybe it was yesterday, right?
Yeah.
That you were at Monterey?
No, it was
Something like
no,
that,
it
right?
was he played the first. I saw him when I was 13 years old. My mom drove me and my 2 friends down to see Jimi Hendrix at a thing called the Devonshire Downs Pop Festival that had the quotations Newport even though it was out in a dusty field in in the northwest San Fernando Valley. And what it was I saw Booker T and the MGs that day, Johnny Winter, Marvin Gaye, but the greatest thing ever was Jimi Hendrix. And and it wasn't a Jimi Hendrix show, it was a jam. And he was playing guitar, Buddy Miles was the drummer, excuse me, and I believe it was Harvey Brooks from the Electric Flag playing bass, and then the horn section and harmonica player was Lee Oscar from War, before they were War, and Eric Burden got up and sang, and it was just, that was my first time seeing Jimi Hendrix, and that changed my life, you know.
That's just fabulous. It's also fabulous, you know, you mentioned that. It was like, yeah, it was nice. I had a mom that used to drive me to shows too, so that's pretty good. And then Jimmy, you posted something, I was looking there with Woody Guthrie in there, a post about, what does it say, being a human being is a hope machine. Right? You posted over there. I thought that was really nice. I didn't know what your sentiment was, or I mean, what you were thinking when you posted something. You had a little Woody Guthrie post there, maybe about a week or so ago.
Well, Woody was, you know, one of my very most main heroes in every way, both you know, musically, sociologically, politically. He was a giant, and Woody was influential on me from several directions. But you know, I was older when I learned about all the folk music stuff and everything. But I'd already, you know, when I was young, I'd heard. Well, for one thing, I heard the Maddox Brothers and Rhodes were doing Woody's music back, you know, when I was a little kid, and they've been sort of forgotten. But they actually, you know, they sort of brought a lot of. Even what evolved into rock and roll, you know, came a lot from the Maddox Brothers and Rhodes, and they were all the Okies and Texans,
right,
out in California. That's the genesis of that. But Woody was.
I think it's nice that the way you put it, that Woody Guthrie influenced you in lots of different ways, and we could probably use a little bit more of that. Right, you guys cover Deportee on the record, so it's very nice. I know you guys got a sound check to get to. We're going to play a song off the record. You wanted to hear what we're going to do?
Buddy Brown's Blues.
Buddy Brown's Blues. You want to introduce the song, Dave?
Yeah, this is Jimmie Dale Gilmore singing the blues.
There we go.
Flat out.
Lightning Hopkins song done in Elmore James style.
Dave Alvin, Jimmie Dale Gilmore.
It's Dave Alvin style.
Dave Alvin
not
style.
Even like.
Right. Yeah, again, Dave Alvin, Jimmie Dale Gilmore appearing tonight over at Sam's Burger Joint. Guys, it's really a pleasure to meet you guys.
With a full band, so bring earplugs.
Oh, that's right, Guilty
bring
man.
earplugs and dancing shoes.
Nice. Lisa Pankratz is there too, so she's one of the Guilty women. So they're the
Brad too.
Yeah,
very
Chris
nice.
Miller on guitar and
Chris Miller and.
Yeah,
very nice. Well, I appreciate you guys stopping by here this afternoon. We'll get you over to the sound check, and we'll see you guys later tonight.
You got it.
All right, thank you so much.